Most founders build their HR function backwards. They hire an HR manager first, hand them a laptop and a prayer, and wonder why 6 months later, nothing has changed. Here's the truth. Before you hire a single HR person, there are 4 things you need to have in place. Get these wrong, and even the best HR hire in the world won't save you. At HiveStrat, we've helped over 50 companies build their people function from scratch, from pre-revenue startups to Series B companies scaling past 200 employees. What I'm going to share with you today is the exact framework we use in every single engagement. It's not theory, it's what actually works. In the next 9 minutes, you'll know exactly what your first HR function needs to look like, what to build, what to hire, what sequence to follow, and the most expensive mistakes to avoid. Let's get into it. Part 1. Why most founders get HR wrong. Let me tell you how this typically plays out. The company hits 30 to 40 people. Things are getting chaotic. Payroll is a mess. Someone had a bad manager experience and it became a 2-week distraction. So the founder hires an HR person and considers the problem solved. But here's the issue, that HR hire walks into a company with no job architecture, no compensation framework, no performance process, and no data. They're not building HR. They're firefighting on day 1 and they never stop. The mistake isn't hiring for HR. The mistake is hiring before the infrastructure exists. Think of it this way. You wouldn't hire a CMO before you had a product. The same logic applies here. Your first HR hire should be stepping into a half-built function, not an empty room. Your job as a founder is to build the room first. Part 2. The 4 pillars to build before your first HR hire. So what does that infrastructure look like? There are 4 pillars. Miss one and everything wobbles. Build all 4 and your HR hire will be operating at 10 times the effectiveness from week 1. Pillar 1. Job architecture. This is simply a clear map of every role in your company. What it's called, what level it sits at, what it's responsible for, and what the success criteria are. Right now, in most early stage companies, 2 people with the same title are doing completely different jobs. 2 managers have completely different expectations of their teams. Job architecture fixes that. It sounds bureaucratic. It's actually liberating, because once everyone knows what their lane is, they stop driving in everyone else's. Start with just 3 things. A role title, a 1-paragraph purpose statement, and 3 to 5 key outcomes you expect in year 1. That's it. You can always iterate. Pillar 2. Compensation philosophy notice. I didn't say compensation structure, I said philosophy. Before you can decide what to pay people, you need to decide what your company's relationship with money is. Are you targeting market rate, below market with higher equity, above market to attract top talent? Each is a legitimate choice, but you need to have made the choice consciously and you need to be consistent. The companies we work with that have the most compensation disputes are always the ones where the CEO made individual deals with every senior hire based on desperation, not strategy. Now they have a leadership team where 2 people doing equivalent work are on completely different packages, and everyone knows it. That's a retention crisis waiting to happen. A simple comp philosophy, written down, communicated, and consistently applied, prevents this entirely. Pillar 3. A hiring framework. Not a hiring process, a framework. There's a difference. A process is a checklist. A framework is a set of principles that governs every hiring decision you make. It answers questions like, what does a strong culture ad look like for this company? What are the non-negotiables we always assess? Who is in the interview panel and what does each person own? What does a good debrief look like? Without a framework, hiring quality is entirely dependent on the individual manager's taste. That's fine at 5 people. At 50, it means you have pockets of the company that are genuinely world-class and pockets that are deeply mediocre. And those pockets will define your culture. The framework doesn't slow down hiring. It makes every fast hire a good hire. Pillar 4, an HR data baseline. Pillar 4 is establishing your HR data baseline before anything else. This means you know right now 3 things. your current headcount by department, your average time to hire for the last 6 months, and your voluntary attrition rate for the last 12 months. That's your starting point. These 3 numbers will tell your HR hire where the real problems are, so they're not guessing in month 1. You'd be surprised how many companies, even at 100+ employees, can't answer all 3 of these questions on the spot. If that's you, establishing this baseline is your first priority. Part 3. When and who to hire. So when do you actually bring in your first HR hire? The answer is not a headcount number. It's a complexity number. The trigger isn't reaching 50 people. The trigger is when the management layer is struggling to function without people support. Specifically, when managers are spending more than 30% of their time on people issues rather than their core function. When you've had 2 or more performance situations you didn't handle well, and when your hiring is consistently taking 30% longer than planned. These 3 signals together mean it's time. Your first HR hire should be a builder, not a maintainer. There's a crucial difference. A maintainer is great at running established processes, compliance, payroll admin, policy updates. You don't need that yet. A builder knows how to create frameworks from scratch, is comfortable with ambiguity, and has experience scaling a people function inside a fast-growing company. If their CV is entirely from large corporates with mature HR functions, they may struggle in your environment. Ask them in the interview. Describe a people process you built from zero. If they can't answer that with a specific example, keep looking. Part 4. The 90-day build plan. Once your HR hire is in seat, here's what their first 90 days should look like. And if you're doing this yourself before you hire, this is your roadmap too. Days 1 to 30, listen and audit. Talk to every department head. Understand the top 3 people challenges in each team. Map current state. What processes exist, what's missing, what's broken. Produce a written summary with prioritized recommendations. Days 31 to 60, build the basics. Finalize job architecture for the top 15 roles. Document and communicate the compensation philosophy. Establish the hiring scorecard and panel format. Set up the 3 baseline HR metrics dashboard. Day 61 to 90, first cycle of execution. Run 1 full hiring process using the new framework. Hold 1 round of performance check-ins with managers. Report back to the CEO with data. What's working? What needs adjustment? What's next? Summary. Let me bring this together. Building your first HR function isn't about hiring fast or hiring slow. It's about building the infrastructure first. Job architecture, a compensation philosophy, a hiring framework, and a data baseline, so that when your HR hire lands, they're accelerating, not starting from zero. Get those 4 pillars right, and your first HR hire becomes one of the best investments you make as a founder. And if this video was useful, the next one you should watch is right here. It covers how to structure compensation when you're competing against companies with 5 times your budget. See you there.